So I have a little bit of a special in here because we're going to look now at the gold market in a little more complete way than we normally do. So this is gold on June 24th, 2020, and a look at the multiple time frames and how we look a little bit deeper and the information that we send to our level 4 members. So here is the gold chart on the weekly. I did a big picture analysis back about a week ago, and I was talking about the conditions of the dollar and the gold and the Fed actions. If you have not watched that video, you must. It's for level 2, 3, and 4. It's not included in our previews that we have going on right now. You need to be a level 2 member or higher to watch that. And of course, it is included in the videos in our partner sites. So the what I was looking at here was there's an end of a cycle right in here, and this consolidation. The same thing, you can see this cycle right there in the gold market and this consolidation. And the same thing right in here, this nested period and the consolidation here. This one got you an upward impulse of $180. After this consolidation, that got you an upward impulse of $340 in the gold market. And now you had the same kind of a breakout. This area here, this area here, and this area here are the same. It's a beautiful upward pattern that's going on in this monstrously bullish cycle configuration or structure that we're looking at. We saw the breakout come right over here, and we are projecting up to get us up into the to this target here, which is in the high 1800s and potentially much higher. And there's a target zone right over here that lines up around with the old high, this fib target zone, or getting even over $2,000. We think this is highly likely that we're going to get that kind of a move on the upside here between now and October. The alignment of this high is where we think that the alignment of the gold of the dollar collapse is going to come to time-wise. That's in this potentially out into October period. So there's a very, very good possibility that we're going to get this impulse. Now, if you look at the low right over here, that's at, we'll call it 1660. So if you add, something like $3.40, it projects to 2,000 up there, $340, sorry. So that would be the same impulse as out of this right over here. So everything I'm looking at in here projects that gold will be moving up towards that $2,000 level sometime between now and the fall. And based on what we showed you in the dollar and other currencies, that's very much in alignment with what we're looking at. So now I'm going to switch over to the daily. Now the daily is a little different in that I don't have the slim ribbon in here because I have it in the next chart. So what we're looking at here are the beautiful cyclic harmonics. So by the way, the dashed line is silver, and you can see how the cycles in silver are a little bit off from gold, but they're pretty close right now. And you have the minor thirds right in here. Now, if you follow each one of these, 1, 2, 3, that made up this cycle right over here. You had this kind of oddball low that extended right out over there. And then you have these 3 cycles looking pretty clear here with a potential low out over here. So we saw this triangular breakout, and now we have this move up here, and this cycle that you can see is configured in a very strong way. In other words, there's not much time in here, just a few days. And this, reversal, not much of a reversal, but we're seeing in here as markets get hit today, that there's some fear that there's going to be a deflationary force. In other words, if the stock market's going to get slammed again, like it did before, 35% or even 20%, then there's going to be a lot of forced liquidations, and gold doesn't do well during periods of forced liquidations. So, there's some nervousness right in here, but we're not looking for much of a decline, and if anything, chop through this area right over here. This cycle, because of this low, might actually have shifted one full minor cycle. So those of you that are students of our cycle analysis, I want you to note that you might have what we call a minor cycle shift here, and that this nested area could actually be one full cycle further out. Those of you that are students know what I said. The rest of you that are not, that's going to sound like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to you. So at any rate, this is a very bullish cycle, and the pretty strong odds the next cycle is going to go even to a higher high and then get some more correction, and then based on everything we showed you, whoops, didn't mean to do that. That takes all of these things, and here to go. Based on what we showed you in here, there's a lot more upside to go, and that's your daily right there. So now we're going to look at the momentum indicators right in here, and this is the slim ribbon right here. So what we're looking at is the slim ribbon based on an area chart, and it colors things to give you a pretty good sense of when the momentum is strong and weak. Now this whole period right in here gave you no momentum whatsoever. The reason for that is because we were in that weekly consolidation period, that yellow zone, through this whole time right over here, where it was just trading in that range and then finally broke out of the range. I can show you that range right in here and the breakout just by grabbing this tool right over here, and you can see that this was that downward movement that we had right in there, and then it got a breakout. You've got a breakout in momentum also as it starts to widen in here, and this is a strong pattern. So we're getting momentum strengthening in here, and you can see right over here the projection oscillator is giving you a very clear look at strength where this cannot tick down in here at all, and that gives you a sense for a lot of strength in there. Bottom is market forecast. There are no signals that I can tell you about in there right now. And here's the next chart I want to show you, which is this magnificent 2-hour chart. Now I do this kind of analysis on some of the main things like the S&P 500, and here in the gold market and on the oil market, where all of the 24 futures that we give you have 2-hour cycles, 2-hour momentum charts like this does. The key thing that we're looking for in here is when momentum gets strong. So this is that whole choppy period that we're looking at, and when momentum started to break out, you could see this starts to widen as you get this positive trading bias area. What makes the positive trading bias area? The slim ribbon turns positive right there, and you get a close of a bar above the day's high, and that comes right over here. So you have this whole positive area right over here, and then every time it gets into the bottom area right over here in the projection oscillator, it gives you buys. Right now we're in a buy pending because we're down in this area, but it has not turned up yet. So this to me really is speaking to the strength that we're looking at in the gold market. The bottom over here is the Esslyn market condition indicator. It's our proprietary indicator. It tells you about the condition. What's unusual about this indicator is that it takes in multiple time frames going all the way out to weekly charts, weekly, daily, intraday charts, and uses momentum type of tools. And when it's tests the swing zone and then comes out of the swing zone. Now the swing zone is from the 25 to the minus 25. It tells you that the more dominant patterns out there in the longer term are powerful. And then when it gets up here and starts to move through the 90s and 100, this is super strength right over here in the gold market. And that says that this buy pending is likely to be a breakout again on the upside, and that there's not a lot of chance that this is going to be coming down very much in here. So, we're looking for a little downtick in here, but everything we're looking at is very strong in the gold market, super strong when we look at that. So let's do a little quick review here. That is your super strength and great pattern that you look at in the weekly chart right over there. This is your daily chart coming up right over here, and that is very, very nice, super strong pattern. The next one that we'll look at is your daily momentum chart that you could see there very clearly, momentum trading strong, and the 2-hour chart that gives you that strong short-term trading bias and the likelihood that you're going to see a very, very nice period still ahead in the gold market. So that's a look at the special that I wanted to show you, an in-depth look at gold, and hopefully that's valuable to you looking at that, and you might even consider being a level 4 member when you see that. So that is a look at the gold market.